Artists like me and Coco seem to have an issue of storing our products because tubes, well, I love them, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to keep them in a drawer while forget about them, so there must be a better way to fix it. And to my shock, I think I found a solution, and it comes from an unlikely source, Dollar Tree. So let's go ahead and see if we can make this more efficient and have a great way to store our tubes. What's up guys, I'm J-Rod of BATTLEBRAWLERproductions, new to the channel. Welcome. We craft amazing comic book style illustrations through a variety of different mediums. But today's a bit of a special video as I'm going to try and solve a problem that has plagued this studio and my original studio up in Virginia, and that was a proper way to store and display my tubes of paint. Because as a watercolor artist, while I do prefer half pans, I also paint with gouache. It's one of my favorite mediums, and I want to have an efficient way to have them displayed. I don't want to just put them in a drawer where I'll forget about them, where they're out of sight, out of mind. I want to have them displayed somewhere where I can see them and have all the tools in my artistic tool belt available to me visually. I did that with my marker display over here, so I thought let's go ahead and try this with our paint tubes. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the inspiration for this really came about at Dollar Tree when I was looking around and I saw these. Now these are just plastic pegboards that you can get for $1.25. They have a couple different sizes. These were the ones that my Dollar Tree had, and I bought one and I was like, hey, that fits perfectly here. And after doing some measurements, I can actually fit 4 of these up in this little space. And after doing some measuring, I found that I can actually fit 4 of these in this nice little space right here. It's at eye level. I can reach over, grab anything in that area, and I thought this would be perfect. So not only did I buy 4 of these, I also bought the connector so I can properly connect them with adhesive tape to the back of it, and a couple of these really nice pegs that you can get to store your paint on, and we'll be connecting the paints using alligator binders. I have these little ones here that I found in the garage, and they clip perfectly onto the end of the tube, and I could just store the paint right there so I could still see it, see the color, and have it displayed and organized. I think this is going to be a really good idea. So all we're going to have to do is clean this shelf right here, connect these together, put the adhesive in, organize all my tubes of paint, attach the alligator binders to them, and then send them up and see if it works. And hopefully, in theory, I'll have a very nice organized way to view and find all my paints so that I can streamline the artistic process. Alrighty, first step is we need to prep this area, so let's go ahead and remove all my little knickknacks. Alrighty, the redistribution is done. It's looking good. Now we can start by gluing these together. So this step is done. Everything is glued. I did use the binders to keep everything in place. And while we wait for this to dry, we're going to do the hardest part of this project, and that's going through this basket of all my tubes. It's all my gouache, all my watercolor. We're going to go through it and find a way to organize them best in here. Now I want to point something out. I only am going to have room for 40 pegs for everything. That's not a lot considering how much is actually in there. And I want to try and organize the gouache and the watercolor separate so that I know which is which outside of them just being labeled. I want to be able to just grab them and know this is the watercolor section, this is the gouache section. So it's not a lot of room. I fit about 3 to 4 of these on one peg, so there is that can definitely help, but it's going to be a lot of thinking. It's going to be a lot of organizing. I'm up for it because I love organizing and streamlining my art process so that everything's just visually right there. I have all my tools in my tool belt, and I just love being able to make making art easier. So that's what we're going to do, and yeah, I'm very excited. I did debate putting the acrylics in here. However, I don't use acrylics enough to justify them being out. I'm cool with them just being in the drawer. This is expandable, so if you have a larger room, if you have a larger area, this is very easy to expand because they do make these in larger and smaller sizes. So just want to mention that. So I'm going to go through the very long process of organizing all my tubes. Wish me luck. I'm not going to film it because it's going to take hours. Alright, so the glue is taking a little bit longer to dry, and so I decided to speed it up by putting some tape here to hold everything in place while I attach it to the wall. I also went through and I already attached all the plastic components that have the double-sided adhesive, so that's all in there. They just clip into place. Super nice, very satisfying. There's also screw holes on these too, so if you don't want to use the adhesives, I'm just going to use the adhesives because it's easier for this spot right here. And then I did go ahead and start to map out the order of the gouache and the watercolor. However, I decided to organize them by colors over here, and I'm just going to go through and start to align them just kind of as I go and eyeball it. The reason I decided to do that is because when I started mapping, not only would it take forever and it would leave me a lot of second guesses, it didn't feel very organic. It didn't feel very natural. It was hard for me to visualize the layout of it, and I think going this way, while yes, it will take longer, yes, I will be more prone to make mistakes, will give me that organic, natural feel that I want in my workspace. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and attach it to the wall. All right, so I did speak too soon because, yeah, I did not factor that in. I need to use all of them and not just ignore the top one for my plan. So I'm gonna have to pull all of this out, and that also includes removing all of the knickknacks because that's gonna fall the second I take this off. That is not good. So That's okay, we'll just fix what we got. Did you bring me popcorn because I'm very frustrated?
Yeah, I brought you popcorn.
Can I have popcorn? Please? No, come back! Purdy, come here. Come here! No! Anyway, I am very glad that we were able to remove it from the wall and not have any damage. But more importantly, I am very glad that we did have this mistake because you pointed out so perfectly that I should have attached it here. And we're not going to use any adhesions. We're going to use just the screw holes that are right here because not only would it give it more room, but I would also be able to take better advantage of the bottom layers and not have it run into this bar right here. So instead of the inset, it's going to be on these bars. And I'm thinking, like you suggested, have it also connect to one of these side ones. And I'm probably going to do that one right there. More stability and also have a little opening here. So that's what we're going to do. Popcorn.
You have it on camera that you said you're glad for this mistake.
I am. This was a learning opportunity and I got too frustrated. And this is why I have you, because you always make things better.
And popcorn.
And popcorn. Yeah! Not sponsored. And just because I know someone's going to mention it, that as soon as I put it up on those, the whole thing's going to fall apart because it's tape and glue. Don't worry. I also use some alligator binders to hold everything in place just to be on the safe side. I did overdo it, but you know, it's fine. I can really pick this up and we're good. It's not folding, it's not moving. And I don't plan on this to be like something that's going to be constantly shifted. So I think we will be fine. All right. I'm not going to lie. It did take a little bit longer than I would like to admit to get this up there. And that was mostly just because for some reason the screws kept getting misaligned, but it's up there. It looks really good. Tested everything. Very happy. And now we're going to put all the pegs. And yeah, I have quite a few to put up there. So let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty guys. So the paint is up there. It's all organized. Let's go ahead and take a look. I'm so excited with how it came out. This is seriously the most organized my paint tubes have ever been. I love organizing art supplies. You can see with the markers behind me. So let's go ahead and reveal what our paint tubes are looking like. And here we are, and it looks amazing. I absolutely love how this came out, guys. I love organizing art supplies, and this looks like part of an art store. I just love the feel of it. For one, not only are they organized by color, I did try to organize from light to dark, but also all the gouache and then all the watercolor. I did have to make some compromises here and there. For example, Fineliner just has some giant watercolor tubes, and Turner's gouache is just so big I had to put these three separate colors just on one peg at the bottom, but it still looks amazing. I love the flow of it all. I love how everything is put in a way where I know where it is, I can grab it, I can see it, and I can identify the colors easy. Huge shout out to Utrecht and Holbein for actually having more of the colors printed so they're a little easier to see than the Winsor Newton, but it's still my favorite gouache. And I did put a special spot for my favorite, the liquid charcoal and some white acrylic gouache. I thought it'd be really good to have those here. And again, I just love how this looks. It really does look like an art store in my studio, and it just is going to help with the creative process. It's going to help to streamline things. It looks really good, but I want to hear you guys' feedback. Is this a good idea? Do you guys have something like this up in your studio? What do you have set up in your studio? Do you just have it in drawers? I feel like this is just going to inspire me to use these more because I can see them. They're not hidden. They're not tucked away. I can reach out and grab them whenever I want to make art. So I want to hear what you guys think of this. And are you guys going to do something like this in your studio? Definitely want to hear that in the comment section down below. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel for more art and animation based content. And remember, I'm C.H.A.M.B.E.R at BLACKEST. I draw upon my own soul. And you guys keep being creative.